So, Jonesy, I'm sure you will have seen a few fans on Twitter already absolutely aghast that West Ham are in the relegation zone, 19th place in the table after that 2-0 defeat by Manchester City. What a nightmare. We're going down. What's the matter with our club? That was certainly the thought of, or the thoughts of two or three of the, I would say, somewhat more unreasonable blokes sitting around me at football yesterday. I found, as I often do when we play Manchester City, that it was just an experience I had to endure. So I just sat there and obligingly endured it. I didn't really shout too much, other than at Said Benrahma when he came on. Blimey. But other than that, yeah, just kind of sat there, watched us lose, was a little bit glad it wasn't 6-0, but City weren't. They were in like third gear, it looked like to me. The whole time. 2 goals from Erling Halland, which, to be honest, was the only real sort of saving grace that I took from that. It was good to see Erling Halland in the flesh. I think we mentioned it last week, sorry. Although City, 2 shots on target, 2 goals, but West Ham 19th. Loads to discover. Talk about Jonesy. Loads to cover, not discover. But yeah, what are your overall thoughts? A bit more detail, perhaps, than that first section.
Well, firstly, I want to say that my Flash Score app actually has this 17th, so I'm going by that rather than 19th. So we're not quite going down yet.
Well, hang on a minute.
We're just safe.
That's confusing because, well, maybe it's Google. What do you think? Why is that? Who have they got? I've got 17th place on my Google table here.
17th?
Sorry, no, I've got Crystal Palace in 17th on the Google table here.
Palace are 18th on here. I don't know whether they just felt sorry for us and stuck us in 17th over Palace. I don't know, but...
no, well, we're 19th on Sky. So it looks like I'm winning out here at the moment.
Well, so, I mean, I'm just going by what Flash Score have got. So I'm sticking with that.
No, I mean, and 19th on the BBC.
Well, okay. Well, if you desperately want us to be in the bottom 3, then we'll stick with the bottom 3.
We're just going to do that all season. Just look for versions of the Premier League table that are wrong to make ourselves feel better about West Ham's current performance or position.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Right,
and I hate to break it to you, mate. And this, I mean, if the Sky BBC one didn't seal the deal on the actual PremierLeague.com website, i.e. the people who run the league that we're talking about, we are unfortunately 19th. So I hope you haven't got any shares in Flash Score, because if so, I would highly recommend everyone listening to the podcast deletes the app from their phone and starts using more reputable outlets such as PremierLeague.com, BBC, Sky Sports, or We Are West Ham social media platforms.
The Premier League are wrong, and it wouldn't be the first time. So,
and Sky and BBC,
exactly.
And Google.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, to the game. Let's talk about more pressing matters, such as.
Well, whether we're going down is quite important, mate.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've still got 37 games to save ourselves. I mean, first of all, we've looked at our transfer window and gone, yeah, good business. Like Maxwell Cornet in on Friday, I think that was decent buy. And then
we do have another attacking forward midfield player.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you can play left back and wing back and whatever else you can play down the left.
Yeah,
but then you go into the first game of the season and not a single one of them's playing. You know, you bought 5 players and not a single one started. And I know Areola got on because Fab got injured, but that was a bit frustrating. I know,
it did not feel like a new season, did it?
Yeah, I know Agued's out. Apparently, he's going to be out until the World Cup, which is ridiculous.
Right.
And then Skamaka, he's still probably getting used to the team.
Yeah.
Flynn Downs was coming in as a backup, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I'm still confused about the whole Areola Fabianski thing. It's like,
well, I do think, we'll get onto that in a minute, but I don't think Fabianski won't get back in now. I don't think, really.
No, I think he's probably done now.
I think he probably, maybe Moyes said that to him. Maybe he sat them both down before, said, like, well, this is how we're going to do it to appease everyone. Fab, you're going to start. You're going to fake an injury 30 minutes in. Alphonse goes in, and that's it. And then
but then
what?
The 5 minutes after Alphonse comes on, he gives away a penalty, and it's just like, oh, brilliant, yeah, nice
Get
one.
Fab back,
yeah,
quick.
Time, mate. Yeah. I don't care if he can't feel his leg. Get him back on.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was frustrating. But you see the starting 11. I'm stuck in traffic on the M4, and I'm like, oh, brilliant, 11's out. I'm like, well, that's. I mean, what is it? Still last season now?
Yeah,
like,
mate,
really
that is exactly it.
And what makes it worse is like, where on earth's Craig Dawson?
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, is he playing? Is he at fullback or is he?
Yeah.
Is he at
oh, good.
back?
We're playing 3 fullbacks and 1 centre half.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is brilliant. And then also, where on earth's Issa Diop? It's like,
yeah.
What's going on with our centre backs? I mean, and the one that did play got done for kicking a cap earlier on this year.
Yeah.
It's like, I just. What is? We've gone from having a striker curse to a centre back curse, and it's just a little bit silly.
Well, fortunately, mate, Mikel Antonio made it quite clear we've still got a striker curse, so I wouldn't worry.
Well, I was going to get onto him.
Right, so go on.
From a performance point of view, I don't think it was the worst. I think a lot of people, judging by the build-up and even listening to the commentary, there was a lot of expectation that we'd play in a very similar way and play at the same intensity as we did when we drew 2-2 with them back in May. It was always like, West Ham got a 2-2 draw against us, a few months ago, and then it's like, well, that was never going to happen because we've got half a defence, not even half a defence, and it's just City have got new players and they've actually played their new players, and it's just never going to be the same.
What a novel situation, like buying a new striker and him starting and then scoring
playing
in the first game of the season.
Yeah, but all that considered, I thought it wasn't the worst performance. We had spells, but City, although you're right at the beginning, they didn't really get out of third gear. They were still very good. They were very effective. I know we spoke.
It was actually quite dull, wasn't it? To be honest.
We were speaking to Steve last week, and he was
mate. Honestly,
when he was like, we've got concerns about, De Bruyne and
I'm betting on a West Ham
linking up.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, we're worried that they've not quite got on the same page yet, De Bruyne and Haaland. It was just sod's law in it that, by the 3 days later, they finally land on the same page and he assists Haaland for the second.
Yeah, but that is like saying, isn't it? It's like, going into this car race this weekend, like I've seen, your Fiesta's looking in pretty good nick. I'm just a bit worried that I've only just bought this Ferrari, so I don't know whether it's actually going to beat you in the car race or not.
Yeah.
So because I haven't not sure if I've got quite the right tires on it yet. So mate, you'll be fine. Yeah. But my dad said they're playing. I didn't sit with him yesterday, but his thoughts were they're playing a different game to us, and I didn't really appreciate yesterday City being like amazingly good. I was just like, this is dull.
Well, they are just, they are just a far better team.
They're like too good at football, aren't they? They've completed football.
They are a far better team, and like they cannot get out of probably first or second gear and still beat most teams in the Premier League and across Europe probably. But then when you look, obviously they've got the 5 subs thing, and then you look at who they're bringing off the bench, and what can you do? And then right at the end, we're bringing on Flynn Downs and Connor Coventry, and it's like no disrespect to those two,
weird sub that was.
But the sheer level the City are at compared to where we're at right now, and we're considering ourselves as top 6 contenders again this season. The gap in class is still a mile off. So given that, the fact it was only 2-0, I think we should take a lot from that, given we didn't have a defence. Yeah, we kept it to 2-0. Although maybe some of that was down to the fact that City probably just
we're just like
2-0.
We're all right here. Yeah,
we'll give them a couple of runs at us, but we'll leave it at that. But
both sets of fans quite like each other, so we don't want to give them a hammering. But we'll win.
And they've done that enough to us over the years, haven't they? So they're probably just gone. Yeah, we'll go and bully someone else this season. We'll leave West Ham.
Exactly.
But it wasn't the worst. It was frustrating. You never want to start the season with a defeat, but we're quite used to that now. And it's hard when you have to play them your first game. But like your dad said, at least that's out of the way, and we can look forward now. I'm excited about Maxwell Cornet. I think he could be a good addition. And incredibly excited about Skamaka. I thought he was one positive out of out of yesterday, out of Sunday. I thought he really got himself about a bit, won every header. Actually looked like he could control the ball. Which, bless him, Antonio, I don't think he controlled the ball once against City. Just every time the ball came to him, it was like his body was shaped like 50p. It's just like going off all over the place. And so
he did get quite a lot of rank service. It looked like a difficult game for him, like one of those classic ones where, like, as you often find against City, you're playing the ball up to him from a lot deeper. And it's a long old way. It's just him up there on his own. You're expecting him to do a lot every time the ball goes within his. I could tell yesterday. I know there was a few times I was like, oh, Jesus, mate. A few more straightforward ones. But there were a lot where he'd get one pinged into him, like fizzed into him from like 50 yards away, as we're just trying to desperately relieve a bit of pressure on the defence for a bit. I'll ping it up to Mickey, like chest height. He's got DS right up his backside and Nathan Ake within about 5 yards the other side. And it's like he's trying to chest it down away from them two and control it and like hold them both off all in one. There was a lot of times yesterday where he was put in difficult situations and he got loads of like stick from around me. I was like, all right, look, he's like beyond his best or whatever, but come on, like no one's sort of as tough to do what he's being asked of there. But there were a few times where it's just like, blimey.
Yeah, but at the same time, no, I do agree with you. But then someone like Scamacca, who is, probably a foot taller, can't be far off it. No. He can deal with that, and he showed that he can deal with that easily. There was a couple of times where he won the ball and managed to head it down to a teammate and you know, start an attack. He's good with his feet as well. I think he's gonna cause a lot of problems for, should I say, weaker defences. I think he's gonna. Not a lot of defenders are gonna know what to do with him when he's in when he's at his full flow and he's fully fit. So I'm excited to see him start games and really get in the full flow of it. And when he came on, particularly Ruben Diaz, who's world class centre back, even he was a little bit like blimey. Started just standing off him a little bit because he knew that he weren't going to win every header like he was going to do against Antonio. And I think that's a big thing when you've got players like Ruben Diaz and, to an extent, Nathan Ake kind of thinking twice about trying to win the challenge in the air and maybe holding back.
Yeah, there was the very first one
forces that. I think that's a big bonus.
Yeah, I agree. There was that very first one where Ake absolutely blasted through him, like proper decent. Obviously, like the very first thing he did, it went up to him and he got blasted out of it. I was like, here we go. Like, all right,
first you can give him for that though. First aerial duel in the Premier League.
No, he's joking. That's what you want to be right up for, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
you want to be right up there, but maybe it's just like, oh, blimey. But
I just think anything's going to be an improvement on Antonio at this stage, really.
Yeah.
But again, yesterday's hard to sort of gauge, and you never know. But good to see him. Good to see him back. He's very, very handsome, isn't he? I think we may have mentioned this last week, but I've just got a picture of him here. Actually, I've got a paper from if you want YouTube or whatever. He is a good-looking man, isn't he?
Very good-looking man.
Yeah, even like when someone does the eyebrow slit and still looks good, and the neck tattoos, you think, you're doing all right there, pal, aren't you? Because mostly anyone who's shaving slits in their eyebrows, you sort of think perhaps not the best thing. But it'll be exciting to see him perhaps against a team who we've got half a chance of having some of the ball against. I don't know exactly, Jonesy, if you saw how much possession we had at the weekend. Wasn't overly surprised by that. Yeah, 24% it was. 6 shots, 1 on target. City, 14 shots, 2 on target.
At half-time, City, I think they read it out, and I saw the stats on TV. It was 80% City possession. First half.
That's probably on flash score, though, was it?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah,
who knows? Yeah. Right, Jonesy. So you mentioned it there. A bit of a concern. Fabianski goes down. Couldn't really see. It was sort of the other end from where I was sitting. What was the injury? Was it a knee or?
Well, I've been reading up on some of the quotes from Moyes after the game, and apparently he said that it was a hip injury which led to his leg going numb.
Ooh,
so you can kind of understand him coming off, really.
Yeah.
If you suddenly can't feel his leg.
It's like a dead leg or something, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been so, but it was something to do with his hip. So
it looked a naughty challenge though when he went in with Haaland.
See, I missed it. That was, I mean, I got back maybe 10 minutes after that happened, 5 minutes after that happened. So, yeah, I was quite shocked to see when the penalty was given away that it was Areola tripping up Haaland and not Fabianski. I was like, oh, I didn't even realise we'd made that sub. So
right, I see. Yeah,
but yeah.
So no, it did. From where I was sat, again, it was sort of a way away, but it looked a bit naughty. It didn't look very, very safe or whatever. But I guess sending off the world's best striker, however many minutes into his debut, probably wouldn't have been very good with the Premier League guidelines, would it? So, the penalty decision, Jonesy. What did you make of that? Because again, from where I was, it just looked like, why have you rushed out there? I don't know. And then it looked a classic one. He just pushes it to the left. Would have been going out for a goal kick. Goes over. And it was like, I don't know. But if he's made contact there, it's annoying.
Stonewall. And even the moment it happened, it was like, yeah, Stonewall. And the fact that Areola just got up and walked off, it was like he knew straight away. I mean, he didn't even need to look at the referee pointing at the spot. Like, he knew it was a penalty. And yeah, I've seen some people go, you probably should have just held him up a little bit. But you got Erling Halland running at you, and he's getting to the 6-yard box. Yeah, okay, he's not directing line of the goal, but a guy that can score as many goals as he has, you can't. You've got to go in. You've got to try and win that ball. But he was just a bit quicker, and Areola makes contact and like penalty all day long.
Stonewall, fair enough. And the second goal, it was a bit of an odd one, really. One of those ones where you're a little bit distracted, and then I sort of didn't really see the build-up, and I'm looking through, and it's like he's through, and he slots in the bottom corner. I was like, oh, I don't know what I was doing there, but that's annoying. Where's that come from? No one really seemed that sort of angry or anything like that. Did you see what was it a decent goal, or like in the build-up of it, or?
Yeah, I mean, it came at a period where we were just beginning to be a little bit more aggressive, and we were getting a little bit more on the ball, and we were getting in around their box a little bit more, and really felt like, if we can sustain this for a little bit longer, we might carve a chance out. And then we give the ball away. I can't remember who it was. They go on the counter attack, knock the ball around our players about 4 or 5 times, and then De Bruyne, superb through ball, through to Haaland, and Haaland's just very, very quick for his size as well, incredibly quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he was always going to score.
Yeah.
Areola had no chance.
Yeah, you're right. He's like, he moves. It doesn't actually look like it when you're watching him, because he looks quite big and cumbersome almost. I thought it was going to be like when you used to watch Wayne Rooney. He'd turn up at Upton Park. He'd be like, hey, you're like 5 yards quicker than anyone I've ever seen run. And you're also happen to have like a mercurial touch on the ball and can bang him in from the top right corner. He actually looked quite clumsy at the beginning. Like, for the supposed best football player on the planet, I thought it was going to be a real experience watching him play. He looked a bit clumsy, but then he sort of grew into the game a bit more. And he's sort of very much a brute. Jonesy, just before we wrap up, have you got anything else sort of note on the City game? I did think the subs were odd. Have you got anything written down there?
Yeah, the subs are odd. The whole defensive thing worries me. Apparently Issa Diop has not put himself forward in the last couple of games. Presumably, the friendly and long or lens, whichever way you want to mention it, and then City. So suddenly he's probably just down tools, wants to go to Fulham for some bizarre reason. Though Dawson's injured, Zouma's the only one left. Aguerd's out until God knows when. I don't really know how we go about this moving forward between now. Do you buy another centre back? Do we sort Issa Diop out and go, mate, you got to play? Force him? I don't know. Because we shouldn't be in a position where we need to go back into the market and buy another centre back.
No.
But now suddenly we're in that position. Like, we thought once we got Aguerd in, we thought, yeah, great, centre back sorted now. Ain't got to worry about that. That's done. We got.
I did still think Diop would go though, didn't you?
Yeah, but even then you thought, fine, bring one of the youth players through as an understudy, as a fourth one, just in case we desperately need him. But then we sold him.
Yeah, at least
Sunderland. So yeah, it's all. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a bit frustrating. We've got 3 weeks into the end of the window, and we're now back in the market for a centre back, which we could really do without. And it worries me a little bit because if I don't know how long Dawson's out for, but if Diop can't be bothered to play,
no, I mean that is, you know, I mean,
if you can't bother to play, then just get rid of him this week. Just go whatever, mate. Ta-da. But it does leave us worryingly short.
I don't think Ben Johnson was out of his depth, to be fair. I genuinely thought he played okay.
No, I mean, that was a bonus that he looked relatively comfortable. But
was it you telling me, actually, he's been playing in the under-23s at centre-back as well?
No, I didn't know that. But,
oh, right. Yeah, someone had mentioned that he's been playing in the 23s.
But yeah, it's just that you want a proper centre-back. Ideally, someone who's a little bit taller, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we've already got a right-back playing up front. We don't need another right-back playing at centre-back, do we?
Right, you know what I mean? So, yeah, but other than that, I've got no real complaints beyond all of that about Sunday. It's just, you know, we've got that out of the way. 37 games to go.
It's just proof, though, mate, what I've said before, which I think that makes the Premier League a bit pants these days, is that everyone's just kind of like, didn't even give us any hope before. It was almost like we've all turned up because it's the first game of the season. We're going to lose this game of football. And I don't know, I find that such a depressing state of affairs. I know it's sort of too little too late and that's the nature of it now. But to like turn up at a home game on the first game of the season and everyone just be like, oh, we've lost this. Like just there for the afternoon, just waiting for it to happen. And that is very much what it felt like. The atmosphere was very, very flat. And it was just that. You could just tell, like, I mean, at the beginning it was all right because we came out the blocks well, didn't we? And it looked like, oh, hang on a minute. And that lasted all of about 4 minutes. And then after that, yeah, it was very much just like when, not if. But yeah, that is the only silver line you can take, I suppose, that it's out the way, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, you want to get those games out of the way early doors, I reckon. But at the same time, it would have been nice to pick up a little bit of momentum like we did last season right at the beginning. But yeah, we move on.
Excuse me. One thing, sorry, you'll have to excuse me clearing my throat. Then just getting a little bit emotional, of course, because we've had to bid a fond and unfortunately, and it pains me to admit it, probably slightly overdue farewell to King Arthur Masuaku. Some absolutely amazing memories he gave. I was going to say us, but I feel like just he gave me because, especially in more recent times, I think my absolute loving for King Arthur has not been quite as popular and as universally adopted as it once was. But I know what you're going to say. Go on, you say it.
He's only on loan.
Yeah, but his option to buy, innit? I mean, and let's be honest, Besiktas aren't stupid, are they? You have a season of King Arthur, you're going to buy him if you got the option, aren't you?
If you say so, mate.
They're not stupid. They got eyes in their head. But nah, I must admit, it was obviously long overdue or whatever. But yeah, very much like probably beginning the end of his time there. I guess, what would you say? Are you of the opinion that sort of Cornet's arrival has like made Moyes feel all right about that? But he's certainly more attacking than Kostic was, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, with all the rumours coming around that, you know, we're willing to sell Ben Rama and Vlasic, you wonder whether Cornet has now been viewed as more of an attacking signing, and there will be another left back coming in. You know, I think the Cornet signing is a clever one because he can play anywhere down that left. He can act as cover. That left back should be needed. Should we need to, you know, change things in the middle of a game and he's playing in an attacking sense, you know, he can move back or vice versa. So. And for 17 million quid, it's a snip, really, for when you're talking about, you know, modern day transfer fees. So, but if we are looking to sell Ben Rama and Vlasic,
God, I hope so.
We at the same time
won't sell both, will we? Surely,
like 3 weeks before the end of the window, like we're not really giving ourselves a lot of time because if you sell those two, you've got to replace them. So why sell them? You know, why give yourselves more work to do before the end of a window? But if that does happen, one of them goes, then Cornet's going to add a little bit more in the attacking sense. So maybe a left back is still in the offing, an actual left back. But yeah, either way, I'm happy with Cornet.
Yeah, I will just actually, that's probably worth noting then. Ben Rama was absolutely rubbish, like offensively bad when he came on. He did everything he tried. About 14 crosses he tried, all went to the first man.
Oh, they're terrible.
Just didn't look in the game at all. And I was thinking that, I love Lanzini, and I was delighted to see his resurgence, and it was great watching him be such a big part of our success the last couple of seasons, last season in particular. And I genuinely do mean that. But I was thinking, I was like, how is he starting on the first game of the season again? Like, Benrahma was supposed to push on, wasn't he? And like, once Lingard went, make room for him to step up and make that position his own, he's done the opposite to that. And like, the fact, man, I love Lanzini. It's not a reflection on him, but I sort of think, really? Like, know, should he still be getting in that starting 11? I think the answer is no.
I agree. And, you mentioned Benrahma's crossing. You got a geezer who's 6'4" in the middle.
Yeah.
Who will beat almost pretty much every player to the ball. If you put it where he wants it, he's going to get his head on it. And look at it, he's at the target. And not a single one went anywhere near him.
No.
And that was a frustrating thing. It's like, you got the tallest man on the pitch there and you still can't hit him.
Yeah, no, very annoying, very annoying. But look, don't end on a negative. Well, it is a negative because King Arthur's left